One thing I do know about some of the top things that the most successful real estate brokers do.
Oh, we're
that
doing
helps
this.
carve out their success.
Okay.
How's that for a segment?
Well, not only that, the top real estate brokers do these things and everybody else doesn't.
Pretty much.
And we've noticed some common things over the years that our top brokers do. As a matter of fact, when we did the awards podcast, we talked a lot about what sets them apart, right?
Right.
And so I thought today would be a good day to just in general talk about what sets top producers apart from everybody else. And there's some very specific things that we've noticed over how many years combined do we have in this? A lot.
I think 272, something like that. We've been doing this quite a
We're
while.
back in our time machine.
The first time I wrote a contract and I had to do math, I used an abacus.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how'd that work out?
For those of you that are under the age of 40, an abacus is an ancient math tool used in Egypt. So there you go.
Hey, who did we talk to the other day that they did a 3-page contract in what state was
Arkansas.
that? Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas still has 3-page purchase and sale agreement.
How about that? So if you're watching from Arkansas, good on you.
Good job,
Good on
Arkansas.
you.
We like that part. But so back to our topic.
So what would you say one of the top things, just to start off with, these are no particular order, but what's one of the top things that comes to your mind that successful brokers do that maybe unsuccessful brokers don't do?
It's going to be hard for me not to name drop because there's certain people I associate these activities with.
Okay.
But really great brokers have conversations every day with their clients directly.
Ooh.
They get on the phone or they have a coffee meeting or find reasons to say hello, not just to get business, but because they're people and they want to connect.
So you mean a real phone conversation?
Yeah.
But text messaging is so much quicker and faster and easier.
We have a story about that just from today's meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. So a newer broker sending her potential clients a bunch of information that is valuable, like, hey, I found this really great deal or whatever the case was. And wasn't hearing back, almost ready to give up on her clients, decided to call them. And what did they say? They said, hey, we've been getting your stuff. We love it. And we're about ready to get going here. We just wanted you to know that. But it wasn't until she called them that she realized, first, they are noticing everything she's doing and they like it.
Right.
Right. But you would never know that until you talk to them.
Yeah. So we get lured into the efficiency of text messaging and emails. And by the way, if you're a real estate broker and you're watching this podcast, we live in a communication world. Email, text message, phone calls. That's just the way it is. So yes, you need to do all these things, but we get lured into the efficiency of texting. And oftentimes we all had the experience where somebody doesn't take what we said the right way because we used the wrong emoji or we didn't use an emoji, right? They don't know we're joking, right?
Yeah.
So there's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness.
Correct.
And ultimately what we're after is effectiveness. I'll take an extra 30 seconds on a phone conversation if it becomes an effective outcome and it's moving the target forward, right?
Right.
So
absolutely.
don't get lulled into thinking that just because you like to text everybody, so does everyone else. That may not be true.
Right. Not everybody appreciates a text, actually.
Right.
You know, a lot of people like a phone call.
Right. No. And now, for example, another thing that I was thinking about top performers, they actually ask for business.
Right. That's really setting a lot of people apart. People we're a little sheepish when it comes to just saying, hey, you know, if you know anybody.
I don't want to be pushy.
I don't want to be pushy.
Yeah.
That's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
But
So-
we're in business. We've got we went through all this effort. We got our license. We got trained up. We found a brokerage we liked. We're in the game.
Right.
Now we got to play the game. I feel like a broken record when I'm saying this. We put ourselves in the game. It would be the equivalent. And we got the FIFA thing going on right now, making it all the way to that.
Right.
And they're just standing on the field, not doing anything.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So we got
Somebody's got to kick the ball first.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So asking for business is part of it.
Hey, when would you like to get started?
Yeah.
It can be as easy as that. It doesn't mean press hard, third copy's yours. It doesn't mean any of that
Right.
old trickery stuff that sales books used to be filled with back in the 50s and
Right.
60s. None of that works. Just be real and just say, when would you folks like to get started?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just that simple. Can you see yourself living here? That's an
Yep.
old Brian Buffini thing when you're showing houses to buyers. Can you see yourself living here? Where do
Right.
you think the TV would look best? I mean, they're
Right.
starting to move in mentally, right? So,
Right. And then, so kind of dovetailing with that is following up relentlessly. And that is something that not everyone does.
right.
How many times have we heard brokers say, I kept sending them information, and 2 years later, out of nowhere, well, it's really not out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They were following up.
Right.
They called me,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's never out of nowhere. What's the percentage of people that forget who their real estate
It's
agent is?
in the high 70 percentile that people, when asked every year, NAR does a big study, and they're always asked, would you do business with your previous agent, right? And it's in the high 70 percentile bracket that says, sure, we'd love to do business with them if only we could remember who they are. Right.
Right.
And
Isn't
so,
that crazy?
I mean, to that effect. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's on us,
Because I always think they're never going to forget me.
Right. Why would they? Right. So, no, it's important that we stay out foremost in front of mind with them. And that's why we ask our brokers, just reach out once or twice a month with something that would be valuable to your client. Not bragging about yourself, but hey, here's a market update for your area of town. Hey, Happy Independence Day. Can you believe it's been 250, right?
Right.
Just something simple as that. They remind you, oh yeah, Derek, yeah, he was always sending us nice stuff.
Well, and the good news is if you're like us, one of my goals is if I find somebody during the course of business that I want to be friends.
Right.
And so, we can just follow up with our friends at that point.
And follow up is key. I was mentioning to somebody the other day, don't get pulled into the buy a lead program if you're not calling back the leads you already have.
Right.
Because now you're just paying for something you're not going to do anyway. So, have a system in place. You should be carving out a time every day for, I'm sorry, this is a sales phrase, lead generation. Now, the warm fuzzy word for that would be networking. But you need to fill the pipeline with people who potentially want to buy or sell a home. And that's just the basic facts of real estate. We are in a sales and marketing profession.
Right.
And so you have to be good at both. Two separate skill sets, but following up with people and setting aside time every day to work your leads. One of the pitfalls we have now is everything's digital. And it's easy when you close your tablet, all of a sudden all your contacts go away.
Right.
For those of us that have been doing this for a long time, we used to put our leads on 3x5 cards. And you'd carry them in your pocket. And every time you reached in your pocket, you were reminded that you needed to call Bob and Mary Johnson, right? Because they wanted to buy the little yellow house. Well, now we close our tablet and all that goes away. So you have to have a system in place where every day you're working that system.
I never thought of it that way, but and you're right. The flip side is, and we see this on the brokerage side, it's way easier to retain than recruit.
Yes.
Right. So the same can be said for leads, right? It's way easier to keep your past customers happy. Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing we got to talk about is just you got to stay in touch with them, right?
Yeah, you don't forget about them after closing. Staying in touch with, and I don't even like the phrase past clients. They're clients.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, clients for life. Right?
But staying in touch with them is so critical. Again, we've already talked about, so they don't forget who we are, but also you are an important part of their life for a small chunk of time there, right? And so, no, they're not going to invite you over for Thanksgiving, but you could still say, hey, make mental notes or better yet, handwritten notes when they have kids that are graduating or they just got a new puppy. The backyard was going to be perfect for a dog they wanted to get. Hey, did you ever get that puppy? Because honestly, I'm interested about that.
Yeah. And you just need to have a system. We're going to talk about systems in a minute, but have a system in place where you can track those major life accomplishments, right? Birthdays, anniversaries, house anniversaries. I mean, if you're interested in your folks, then you should be tracking those, right?
Oh yeah, because those are big milestones for them as well.
Yeah.
And I always try to keep track too. During a transaction, I'm very sensitive to what their hobbies might be.
Yeah.
And I make a note of that as well, because I may be reading some random email or website about this new woodworking tool that comes out. And if I remember that Fred is an avid woodworker, I'm going to paste that article and email it to Fred. Hey, Fred, I saw this article today.
Yes.
Immediately thought of you. Have you checked into this? That has nothing to do with real estate, but I'm honestly interested in
And it's
our
so easy to do,
commonalities.
right?
It's easy to do, right?
It's easy to do. I do that to you all the time. You must have a million emails for guitar stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's all good. That's all good.
Here's one of these things we're going to talk about next, about being in the game and playing the game, and resistance to that, creating content, and like we're doing right here.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I would be, if we were to ask ourselves, this would be the first thing we would think that we would be doing for real estate is a podcast.
Right.
We probably 10 years ago would have said, no, what's that have to do
what's
with
a
real
podcast?
estate?
I don't find a podcast on MySpace. What's going on here?
Yeah. But again, we got in the game,
right?
And part of the game, and I'm not trying to, say this is a game, but part of being in the business is to articulate your value and your engagement in the business.
Right.
And the best way to do it is on social media platforms.
Right.
So here we are, Al. We're talking about our day-to-day business on a social media platform once a month and cutting it into little, pieces that everyone can get every week.
Absolutely. Yep.
And the reason we do that is not only to remind ourselves what's important about the business, but to tell other people, here's what we're coming up against for buyers and sellers. Here's what's happening for brokers. It's important to us to talk about these things. And so if people know that, then they're interested in us, right?
Absolutely. And it kind of goes back earlier. We talked about, there's a difference between sales and marketing, right? There have been a lot of books written on sales, a lot of books written on marketing. If you want to cut through all the noise, it comes down to pretty simple basics. Sales is convincing, marketing is attracting. And so your social media platforms, your outreach through those platforms is part of your marketing strategy. It's not just a strategy to trick people into doing business with you, but to show them who you are as a person.
That's
and then people say, gosh, I think I'd like to work with that person.
Do business with
they seem like they're pretty level-headed and pretty easy to get along with. So you've got to get out of your own way and just start posting content. Now, here's a secret. You don't even have to have your face on the content. Next time you do an open house, turn the phone around and say, hey, everybody, I'm doing this open house today at 123 Main Street from 11 to 4. Stop on by. Coffee's on me. Check out this bonus room.
Right.
That's
should be that easy.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be difficult.
We don't have to make it complicated. We're sometimes our own worst enemies.
Yeah. Well, we think and we think and we think and we plan and we get ready to execute. But wait a minute, I gotta check this one more thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to research this a little bit more before I do this. And the next thing you know, another year's gone by.
Yeah. Now the next one is a tip for any new agent that thinks, well, I'm new to the area. I don't know anybody. I'm new to the business. I really don't know how this works. How do you overcome either of those things?
Yeah. Well,
easily.
Imagine this. Let me ask a question. If you're brand new and you're watching this and you're just, you're anxious and you're nervous, like, gosh, I don't know what I'm doing really. What if you knew more about your local market than anyone else? Somewhere in your market is that person. They know more about that market than anyone else. That can be you. With just a little bit of time every day studying your market, and it's right on the MLS, right? It's right on your company's platforms too. Study your market. Know how many properties are on the market. Know how many went under contract last night. Know how many sold last month. What's the average days on market? Know these things. Did you know, for example, that in the last NAR study that 68% of people who bought a new home last year bought a home within 7 miles of where they lived already?
Okay. Right. That's a good thing to know.
That's a good thing to know, right? So there's your pool of potential buyers for your new listing, probably, right? Mm-hmm. So if you know these things, now what does that do? It gives you confidence, right?
Right.
And confidence translates to competence.
Absolutely. So you want to be the person when somebody comes into your open house and they start talking about the neighborhood. and you can rattle off 3 or 4 homes that just sold or are pending or that just came on the market, and you saw, yeah, it has a blue carpet, but you can easily replace that.
Right.
Things like that. People know somebody when they know it when they see it.
Right.
And you want to be that person.
If you're in an open house, you should know all the other open houses that are going on around you that day, because I guarantee you the people stopping by do. And then you can ask them, hey, out of curiosity, how do we compare to the other homes you've seen? Right?
Yeah.
Get into conversations with them. You should know, if you're doing a 3-bedroom home, you should know where the 4-bedroom homes in town are available. And somebody comes in and says, we really needed 4 bedrooms. Hey, there's 7 4-bedroom homes in North Tacoma right now available. Is somebody getting you that information? So you know the market cold. All of a sudden they're like, wow, this person really knows their stuff. And it just takes minutes a day to stay up to speed on it.
Yeah, if you're new, so you get your what we call a hot sheet. So everything that just popped up on the market, all price changes, everything that went pending, and you go out and personally preview all the new stuff. Right. And the reason that you can gain an advantage quickly is if most brokers, if they're busy, they can only focus on what they're working on in front of them. So if you have a client looking, for example, in Parkland, then you're just looking at Parkland for a week or two or whatever, however long it takes. And then other clients in other spots, but you're not looking at the entire market and really getting to know your area.
Right.
You are, but not to that extent.
Schedule time every day to study your market.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a 7-hour computer session, because that's easy to, now you're hiding from the business also, right?
Yeah.
But just schedule time every day to get an update on the market and to know your facts.
Right. The next one's just kind of a quick one, but being able to make a decision.
Yeah.
And quickly too. We're in business, and we don't have, and take responsibility for it, good or bad, right? I need to do this for my business. I'm going to dedicate this, whatever, next 30 days to do an open house every other day, and make the decision and then live with it, right? And work it.
Yeah. How many people right now are buying a new AI agent because it's $20 a month and I don't like the one this one's given me? Pick one,
and
pick
go.
2 maybe, and then study them. Learn how to write prompts. Learn how to do, if you have a new software program, you just gotta, you CRM database. Spend time learning how to use it so you can do it in your sleep, and then you get more effective, and you also get more efficient.
Absolutely.
But you got to put in the work up front.
Okay, the next one's a big one, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
So they track their numbers.
They do track their numbers.
And we're talking conversations, appointments, listings, closings, referrals. Where's my business coming from?
Right.
If you don't know where it's coming from, then how are you gonna set up your business?
Sure, you have to know where did your business come from last year. Yeah. How many buyers did you get, and what were the sources from those? How many sellers did you work with, and what were the sources of those? If you, for example, picked up 6 transactions last year due to your open house efforts, why would you want to take open houses off the table this year?
Right.
That's a source of business that you wouldn't have met those folks from, right? So be aware of where your business is coming from and track your numbers. What are your average days on market for your listings? What are your percentage of list price versus actual sell price? How many price reductions are you having to do? Are you being too soft on just picking a pie in the sky number to get the listing? Maybe you need to sharpen the pencil a little bit, but know your numbers.
And I know that sounds like you're in the weeds a little bit, but I'll tell you what, when you're in front of somebody that really wants to know that information and you have it at top of mind, it makes a big difference.
And by the way, a lot of this comes down to just having systems and checklists in place. And then once you have those in place, it's just a few minutes a day monitoring them, updating them. Okay, now this is where I'm at. You're not spending hours a day studying this. It becomes a habit.
It becomes part of your daily life.
How you roll.
Business,
Protect their time a little bit.
That's
so
a big deal.
We're all guilty of taking late night phone calls and early morning phone calls, and sometimes you have to protect your time. And it's a creep in our own brain that gets us to this point. I would be willing to bet that nobody watching this podcast has ever returned a phone call while they're having their wisdom teeth pulled. So, okay.
I hope not.
There was an hour or 2, counting the grogginess, that you were out of touch. But you probably let all your clients know, and it happened, right? You probably don't shower while you drive to work, right?
Sounds kind of like a
You
good idea,
segment
though.
you segment certain things out in your life, and you take care of those, and you're not available during
Right.
those times, right? Now, I'm not saying driving, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So have boundaries and run your own schedule. You know, a lot of times people say, well, you know, I couldn't make the office meeting because I had a home inspection. Okay, well, who scheduled the home inspection? Did you
Right.
not know you had a office meeting the same day of every same week at the same
Right.
exact time? So be in control. Sometimes when somebody calls and says, hey, I want to go look at your listing, can we go see it right now? A lot of people will drop everything like a puppy and say, yeah, let's go look at it right now. But maybe you can't. What if you said, you know what, I can't get there right now, but I sure could at 11 o'clock. Would that work for you? You'd be surprised how
Yeah.
many people say, okay, sure, 11 o'clock's fine too.
Yeah, and the reason we're talking about this is not because we want to shirk our responsibilities to our clients and put them off. And you have to stay balanced and not burn out.
Right.
If people ask you to jump and you say how high all the time, you're going to burn out, or you're going to have other problems
Right.
in your life, like not spending enough time with your family or
Sure.
your friends, or something's going to give.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
have to be available to your clients, obviously. But for example, there's only a certain amount of motivated buyers you can work with at any given time because they all want to go look at houses between 9 and noon on Saturday morning.
Right.
Well, what are
Right.
you going to do with Bob and Mary and Fred and Alice?
Yeah.
Are
It
you
gets
going to
tough
rent?
when you have 4 or 5 different buyers.
Yeah, so you have to, you have to build parameters and schedules. So I'll give everybody a tip. When you're showing houses to buyers, turn your phone off and
Yeah.
do it in front of them. Now, I put mine on stun because I needed to open lock boxes, but I put it on stun in front of them and say, you know what, I'm going to turn this off. I don't like to take calls when I'm on appointments with clients. Now, if the client ever calls you in the future and you don't answer their phone immediately, they must think, oh, Al's probably on an appointment.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I did that in front of them,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not getting interrupted when I'm on other appointments all the
Right.
time.
That's a good tip. And it doesn't mean you're blowing off people.
No, you don't want to do that.
means
That's
you're
how you lose
prioritizing.
business.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
lose business if you blow
Yeah.
people off.
Yeah. So the next one is just, and I think this might be one of the best ones. And really, all of our top brokers do a really good job of this. And this is why they're top brokers, getting face to face with people. And we've touched on this in these other aspects, but really just face to face conversations are where it's at.
Right.
That's where you really get to know somebody and really understand them the best.
Yeah, a small percentage of what you say makes impact. How you look, your facial expressions, your tonality, that resonates
Right.
more with clients.
Right.
The actual words you use. That's why sometimes emails or text messages can be less effective than sitting down and having a cup of coffee with your client and
Right.
and finding out, how their plans have changed or whatever the issue is that you're trying to help work through.
Yeah, I just think you can really, I mean, this is kind of funny. My wife watches all of these murder shows, right?
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be careful.
But it's funny because when they're having the interviews, or the cops there, and he's interrogating, and you already
Mhm.
kind of know where the story's going.
Right.
But you can really tell when somebody is telling the truth or lying
Yeah.
by watching
By watching
that.
Yep.
Generally
Yeah.
speaking, it's crazy, right?
There's a great old joke that according to Dateline, all marriages end in murder. Yeah. So
Right. I mean, they're very popular with ladies.
apparently,
I don't know what the deal is.
good luck with that.
Well, she tells me, because we got to know, because we're just ladies. We got to know
Oh,
what's going on. I
yeah.
don't know if that was the right way to say it.
Yeah.
She didn't mean just
No,
like,
I don't.
we got to know what's out there, where the bad guys
My
are, what
dog
they're
looks at me
doing.
strange every now and then too. So it's probably going around. So.
Okay, so the next one is they practice their scripts. When you're doing your homework for your clients, you're always rehearsing. How am I going to convey this information in a manner that people will really understand?
Right.
We're definitely just trying to get the information there in a clear way.
Yeah, and when we say scripts and dialogues, we have to lose the the mentality of what sales was back in the 70s and 60s. It's not I memorized these 27 things, and when they say this, I'll say this, and I'm going to trick them into signing on the bottom line.
Which is kind of the way it used to be. We're not in that.
It doesn't
we
work.
don't do that.
Nobody wants that in their life. So we are consultants.
Yeah.
And we're building relationships.
Yes.
At the same time, there are ways that you can say things that help your client realize, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So that's what we're talking about.
That's all we're trying to do. Yeah, is get the message across in a way that people understand.
Right.
Right. And sometimes, especially when it comes to data and there's emotions involved with our clients. Well, my house, I thought it was worth 800,000, and what you're telling me is it's only worth 700. And then you're having to kind of encapsulate that information in a way that they can understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult, right? So you got to get good at it.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So that's one of the things that really our top agents are very effective at.
Right. And again, you're just having a conversation with people to help them make the decision that they ultimately want to make that's good for them.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the next one is one of our favorite ones, Alan.
Yeah.
What could
database?
The database. That sounds like such an old-fashioned word.
Uh-huh.
Database. It sounds boring.
Yeah, my database used to be on 3x5 cards in my pocket, right? Now it's in a computer. Yeah. And but I'm working on it. I'm working on my database.
Yeah, we have some people that have been working on their database for a couple of decades. I don't know if they've actually implemented.
The software programs have changed 7 times, and they're still working on their database. But one of these days, they're going to send out that email. Right? Hey, everybody, happy 4th of July.
But that's not what our top brokers do. They embrace that, and they've been working it from day one.
Well, your database is central to keeping organized. When you have multiple clients going on, you're spinning a lot of plates, to use an old Ed Sullivan analogy. We just lost half the audience here.
But Senior Wences coming too.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. We're spinning a lot of plates, right? Yeah. Well, a good, effective use of your database can help you manage all those things. What do I need to get done on Friday? How do I need to reach out? What are the deadlines in this contract, right? That's all part of your database, keeping track of that. Checklists are part of that too, and systems in place, but your database is a key tool to help you grow your business.
Yeah, Donald Scott has and we're tooting our own horn here, but we have Salesforce as our database platform, and it's very robust. You can do a lot of things with it. It's just a matter of choice.
Yeah.
Are you going to do this for your business or not?
Well, and we call it the Engage platform because that's really what it's all about. Yeah. It's engaging with your clients both before, during, and after the transaction, and really keeping happy clients for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just making sure that you're aware of what's going on in their world, and they're remembering who you are.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
The next one, it says they ask better questions, but the truth of it is, they're asking questions to listen.
Right.
And good listeners are our top brokers.
Yeah.
People that talk a lot and don't listen to their clients' needs, kind of talk over their clients and have their own agenda.
Right.
They're never top producers. Yeah. I wonder why.
Well, have you ever, so my grandmother is speaking to me right now in the back of my mind. Yeah. She used to tell me, Alan, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly.
That's a classic.
Right? Yeah. So we probably all had that same grandparent that told us this. But we've all been in conversations with people, and you can tell they're not really listening to you. You're having a conversation. They jump in and interrupt you.
You can see their little wheels turning. Right?
Now, they're not paying attention to
I just did to you.
That's okay. I'm sorry. What did you say? So just be in the moment. And here's another little tip. If somebody tells you a story about the skiing accident and they broke their leg, don't try to one-up them.
Oh, the classic one-ups.
Because everybody wants to do that. Oh, let me tell you about the time I was skiing and my leg flew completely off, and I had to stitch it back on by hand. We all want to one-up somebody's story, right? Don't do that. Just listen to their story and be engaged with them, especially. And that's just in life. That's not about with clients or anything. Tip there. Yeah, just be engaged. Don't try to one-up everybody. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's harder to do that because really we just want to share some common things with people when we do that, but we shouldn't. Right.
So a great example of asking better questions is when you're listing a property for sale, ask your clients, so what have you enjoyed the most about living here? And everything that they tell you right now, you better be writing down, and they better be in your marketing remarks.
Right.
Because those are things they've enjoyed. Oh, we love the mountain view. Oh, we love the orcas that breach right in the little canal in front of our house. Whatever it is important to them. It's going to be important to a lot of other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's where I was going to go with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to learn some things probably from your clients about the house that you can't just easily see because they've lived there for a long time. They've had the experiences.
Yeah.
There. So
great questions. Why are they moving? What's the reason behind the move? Newsflash. Sometimes moves are not based on good reasons or happy reasons, right? A lot of things happen in life. So, if they tell you, we're getting a divorce, you don't say, divorce, awesome, right? You don't do that kind of stuff. So asking better questions. Okay, what time frame works best for you? How do you feel working with buyers? What do you feel about the houses we looked at today? Is there one that's a standout to you? Can you see yourself living there, right? Where do you think the TV would go? All those things are getting them to think about, gosh, do we like the backyard? Could a little scruffy run around and play safely in the backyard and stuff? And this would be a good place to put our roots down, right?
And you're just creating a feedback loop for yourself because the more feedback you get, the better you can be for your clients.
Exactly.
So, okay, we got a few more left. What's the next one?
The next one is they keep marketing even when they're busy.
Oh, now, okay. So that's something that really happens to us all. In any sales business, right? We get busy. We're focused on our active clients, and in our case, getting a deal closed. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's particularly difficult, and we've got a lot of hurdles to get through. And maybe we have 2 or 3 of those folks, right? And in the meantime, we're not doing open houses. We're not contacting our database. We're not going to events. We're not wearing our logo. Right. We're not doing anything to get new business. And guess what happens when those deals close? We have nothing.
Right. So we're always building business. I like to say, 90 days out. We're working with the client. It might take us a month to find the house. When we find the house, it's going to take us at least a month to close. But one of those things could take longer, right? So everybody, the joke in our industry is everybody starts to get busy in February because they realize they took November and December off and all the bills are piling up, right?
Right.
So always be looking down the road. You're building future business. Don't stop your daily activities just because you're managing your escrow file.
That's right. And the reason, the way you can do that is through systems.
Yeah, systems are critical. Checklists. Every time you take a listing, what are the things you must do in what order? Every time you're working with a buyer and you're under contract, now what are the deadlines that you have? Build your checklists to integrate with your system so you can do this on autopilot. If you don't have checklists, reach out to me in the comments below. I'll send you mine.
Al's got 1,000 checklists. He has a checklist for getting here.
Yeah, if my GPS ever goes down, I won't be able to get home.
But not only systems for in transaction, but systems for your marketing so that you can continue to build your business. Everybody should have a marketing plan for themselves.
Right.
It's your business plan.
Exactly.
Right? Yep. That you should do every year that nobody does.
Yep. Take it seriously. Just like you just bought a convenience store. Now you're opening your doors. You probably have a plan. What are we going to do?
Yeah, we'd hope so, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get a loan to start a business, if you were a new realtor and you went to a bank and said, I have a plan to get into business to be a real estate broker, they would ask you for a business plan.
Right. I'm not a real serious person. I like to have fun. So serious is maybe the wrong word for me. I like to have fun. I like to look on the positives every day and find a reason why I'm excited about this. But you need to take it seriously in the sense that this is what you do for a living. Don't be a dabbler and, maybe in 7 years you'll learn what the paperwork says, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just be serious about what you do for a living. Take it seriously and then have fun.
Right. You can do both.
And help people in their lives. That's what we're ultimately doing.
As a matter of fact, I think the more serious you are about your business, the more fun you can have because it frees up the bandwidth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got this down. I have a system in place. I know where my business is coming from. I know how to get business and my system is working for me. And now I can just enjoy my time with my clients.
Right. I ask people all the time, I said, they have a question about a transaction. And I say, well, show me your dates.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking for is, do you have all the dates, the due dates in your purchase and sale agreement? Do you have them all in one place?
Right.
Or are you constantly looking through 20 pages of the contract to figure out when the earnest money is due?
Right.
Do you have them all in one place? If you did something that simple, you'd be amazed at how you can sleep at night.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. Okay. The last couple. And this is kind of maybe a little redundant, but staying visible, right? So we've talked about you got to play the game, you got to be in the game, you got to play the game, you got to constantly create content, you have to have systems, but then you just have to keep it up and stay visible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important.
You've got to keep it up for sure. And then, half the time is people just need to know what you do for a living.
Yeah. Well, consistency breeds, if you're consistent about that, people will trust that this is really what you're good at and what you do because they see that action. Right. But if people don't know that you're doing anything.
Hey, if you're a licensed real estate broker, have you ever had one of your neighbors list their house with someone else?
Oh, it was
and then they say,
worst.
"Oh, I didn't know you were in real estate."
I didn't know. So a lot of us are a little sheepish about getting around our neighborhoods,
right?
But it's the worst when your neighbor's sign goes up on your neighbor's house because you didn't want to bug them,
right? Exactly.
And then they say, "Well, I didn't know you're a real estate broker." Yeah, that's terrible.
And then you reach out to that broker and say, "Hey, you want me to sit your open houses? I'm kind of close. Maybe I can find a buyer for you."
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to wear a sandwich board bragging about your company when you're walking your dog through the town, but just
your neighbors
don't be shy about telling people what you do when they ask.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Last two.
Well, I would say they invest in themselves.
Yeah.
They take what they're doing seriously. But I always ask people, when's the last book you read on this subject? It could be real estate, life improvement, right? When's the last book you read, or an audio book you listened to, or article that you dug into, or
podcast?
What do you follow on podcasts? What do you follow on YouTube? What channels, right?
Right.
Are you trying to be a student in life? Are you trying to get better at all the things that you think are important to you in your life?
Yeah.
Because the information's out there.
Oh, there's so much.
You want to learn how to alternate pick on a guitar? Guess what? I can find you 5,000 videos, and you can watch them all today on how to alternate pick on your right hand on a guitar. Mm-hmm. So it's not a lack of information. It's basically a sea of noise right now.
Right. Yeah.
Filtering through that is one thing.
Which is another thing. You got to be careful about what you listen to. Just like everything else nowadays.
Yeah. So watch our podcast and nothing else. That would be best.
we give you all the right answers.
But you just be a student of life. If something's important to you, if you want to be a better parent, then guess what? There's ways you can learn how to do that. You want to be a better sibling, you want to be a better son or daughter, there's ways you can study that to learn that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final one, I guess, we'll get to is, and then I have a little kind of extra one. Okay. It's just, you got to be willing to do the boring stuff over and over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And not everyone is willing to do that for the long haul. The people that really amaze me in our business, and we have a good, solid group of them, are people that can do this consistently for decades.
Yeah, day in and day out.
We've got a few brokers that have been really working at a very high level for a very long time. Now, we see people come and go like that. Mm-hmm. They come in strong, and then they fade out because they burn out. But if you can figure out a way to keep it all balanced and just do this stuff over and over again, you can have a lifetime worth of highly productive, great business and meet a lot of people and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, look at major league sports figures, some of the highest paid baseball players in the world. Guess what? Today, they're taking batting practice.
Yeah.
Right? Boring. Yeah. I know how to hit a baseball. No, they're taking batting practice. If you ever watch NFL warm-ups in their training camps, and all these guys are doing these goofy little skipping moves and then throwing their knees outside to warm up their hips and stuff, the quarterback says, I can throw the ball. Why am I No, they're taking practice reps, right? Because they know they have to keep their edge.
Yeah.
And so it's the boring stuff, but you know what? It's all comes back to the basics. Can you do the basics well? Yeah. You don't have to do the flashy stuff if you've got the basics down. And part of that is just, every now and then Stephen Covey used to say the 7th step of the 7 habits of highly effective people is every now and then you have to sharpen the saw.
There you go.
If you're cutting down trees all day long, you got to stop and sharpen the saw so you can cut down more trees. Otherwise, you're going to fail.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, I've said this over the years too. You got to find, you kind of fall in and out of love with your business.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's every business owner. And if you're falling out of love, you got to find a way back to falling back in love with your business. So find the things that you really like and work on those.
For me, it's when I think about the things that we did during the transaction and how we impacted our client's life. And
Right.
now they're living in the next chapter of their life, and you handled it smoothly, and you built a great relationship with them. They're people you didn't know a year ago, and now they're
Right.
safely settled in their new place. And you
That's
know,
very rewarding.
that's where the rewards
Yeah.
come from. And all the ups and downs of a transaction, the moment you hand your client their new keys on the front porch of their new house, all that roller coaster ride went away,
Right.
because that's the moment that matters. And
Yep.
that's what we're helping people accomplish. And that's why we need to remember that.
And if you're lucky, you can end up working with several. I'm working with a client right now who is a client of an agent who's out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the third generation in the family that has worked
Can you
with
imagine?
him.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough to have a long career, you can be working with generations of the same families,
Yep.
and you're their person.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
that's an amazing feeling.
That's an
You
amazing
become
feeling.
family friends
Yep.
and more than just the realtor.
And you
Right.
probably are getting invited to the barbecues at
Yeah,
that point.
I would
Yeah.
hope so. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
it's all about. We're making connections.
Yeah.
We're not here to just sell somebody something.
So what was the secret one you had? You said you had one more.
The secret one is the one unknown. So when we talk to new brokers and they want to come in and start their career, there's the one thing that we just never know. What's inside of you? What's the fire in your belly?
Mm-hmm.
If there is one, what is motivating you? And our top brokers always seem to have an underlying motivation, whether it's that they grew up poor and they didn't have anything and they don't never want to see that again.
Right.
There's some of that we've experienced.
Yep.
Some people are just very competitive,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not about the money.
Right.
It's about winning for their clients.
Yep.
Some people, it's just about, and not about, a lot of times it's not about money. We have a lot of brokers that just want the recognition that they work really hard.
Sure.
It's very important to them.
Yeah.
And I understand why, because it's not easy to be in business for yourself.
No.
So they just want a little recognition, and that goes a long ways, right? So what motivates you? Everyone's different, but figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Why am I working at night and weekends and holidays and maybe at the detriment to my family life right now
Right.
for the long goal?
Yeah.
Figure it out, because that it's important, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And what gets you out of bed is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always had this, I don't know why. I always had this fear that I would be homeless.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where that was coming from.
Well, but there was probably times in our lives where we didn't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
And it was just there's that nagging fear in the background.
Yeah,
So,
especially when I started, mainly because I think I was the only child, right?
right.
And so I didn't have really anything to fall back on that
And
I felt comfortable
no
falling back on.
sibling to reassure you that,
Yeah,
it's
or
okay.
I got
or-
you
yeah,
if you
yeah.
fall down, and so I always thought, well, I'm one check away from, and I know I'm not the only one. And I know a lot of people experience this, but when you don't have any safety nets and you're just one check away from that being a possibility,
Yep.
it can stay with you for your
Oh,
lifetime. And so that's why I really feel for people that are experiencing that, right?
Well, and we've all been through those moments. I just saw an interesting study the other day that it's a reverse bell curve with finances and career joy.
Yeah.
It's reversed. We go through the worst times of our lives in our late 20s, 30s, and early 40s.
Yeah.
And then we come out of it.
Yeah.
And then everything's okay. So it starts off okay. Everything's
Hopefully.
full of joy.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so for example, there's a great saying that you can choose to not see the joy in snow. you will have less joy in your life, but you will not have less snow.
No, right. That's
right?
a good one.
So we start off as a kid, oh, we love snow, we love snow. And then
Yeah.
as adults, no, what a pain. It snowed today.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to work. And then as we come out of it, pretty soon we start to see the joy in snow again, right? So bottom line is all of these things that we talked about today can be summed up in an old saying. And I'll use this in a real estate phrase, but this really works in life. The successful real estate person is willing to do what the unsuccessful real estate person is unwilling to do.
Wow, you really put a bow on that.
And it really comes down to that when you think about it.
Absolutely. With that, I think we're going to just call that.
All right.
Perfection there, Al.
Thanks, everybody. This is great.
High five, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right.